We're on the road. Where transportation goes, community grows. Welcome to On the Road with the MTA. And welcome to another edition of On the Road with the MTA. I'm Jay Gibbons with Stephanie K. How's Stephanie?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm trying to stay safe because it's a safety month. The whole month is safety.
The whole month of June, right?
Safety awareness. Yes, it is.
Yes.
So that's why I'm glad that we have Ed Berger back in our studio. Thank you for coming in, Ed.
Hey, always glad to be here.
Well, you must have just the right size of head that changes to every hat that you put on because you wear a hat from every aspect I can think of. I mean, you've been in every department pretty much that I've been here.
Yep.
And you've done a great job in every one of them.
Yes, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, always willing to help out. Always trying to fill a need, just like we do for the community every day.
Yeah.
Try to make it happen.
People have said, I know a driver personally works here, he goes, that Ed is just such a nice guy. He's the kind of guy that you could just borrow his lawnmower if he was your neighbor.
Yes, he would too.
Yes, he is, for sure. Anyway, Ed, thanks for being here because I know you are in charge of safety here at the MTA, and that must be a big job, isn't it?
Yeah, I may have that hat, but safety is everyone.
Right.
You look in the mirror, and safety starts with you.
Oh, that's good.
And you have to remember that because you're the person who responsible for all your decisions and choices that you make in a given day. So that's something that's a constant reminder is, if you're aware of you have a bad habit, you got to find a way to make it a good habit.
Well, you're right. And sometimes we don't do that until it's too late when we've hurt ourselves. And I should have, like, for example, it's a smaller one, but I have a habit of putting things on my step to go to my bedroom. So when I go up there, I'll grab it. And then I don't grab it. And then it's getting bigger and bigger, like a little pile there. Mm-hmm. And my neighbor said, oh my gosh, Steph, you could break your neck. You got to clean that staircase. I was like, I know, but it's a habit. I got to get in the habit of taking it off.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I stress consistently is you don't ever want to be sitting there at night, and you're saying your prayers as you go to bed or whatever whatever your nightly routine is, and sit there and think, I wish I would have said something when I saw whatever it was, the stuff on the steps. I wish I would have said something or done something to it. It might have been uncomfortable to broach that subject with somebody, but when you're doing it out of a genuine concern and your intent is to keep them safe,
sure,
then that's going to outweigh anything else as opposed to, man, they're in the hospital. And I wish I would have said something or did something. So we always stress, you see something, say something. And as part of our culture here at MTA, we got to receive that. And we got to have a culture that says, hey, if Stephanie saw me doing something that wasn't safe, you should feel comfortable to say, hey, I observed this, and, I'm really concerned. I want you to be safe, but everyone else on the road or whatever department or whatever the situation is that you observe, that it's okay to say that. And we want each other to be able to trust each other and care and say something and do something. So.
Well, especially in your position, because if you see a driver you think might be looking dizzy, like he's walking funny or something, that you're concerned about him, but also you, as the manager, have to be concerned about everybody else on the road. If he's going to be on the road, represent MTA, you got to make sure that his clients in his car are safe and other people on the road that he's driving with are safe. So you have a big responsibility to speak up and say something.
On one hand, yes, that's my responsibility, but it's really every single employee at MTA is responsible for it. It takes all of us to do what we do each day and to keep everybody safe.
Well, that makes us all think, if you're going to see somebody driving, maybe they, like you said, took a new medication or something, looking like they're kind of dizzy or tired. You're saving that person and the person on the road with them, and maybe if they're going to pick somebody else up, even if they weren't working for MTA. But that's just caring.
That's right. And with, for example, with the dispatchers, they check the drivers every day to make sure that they're fit for duty.
Oh,
and
do they?
So if they see something that's out of the norm with a certain individual or behavior, maybe they look fatigued or something to that effect, it's their responsibility to call that out and say, hey, I don't think you can safely go out on the road today.
Wow.
And that's part of that, why you have to come in, you have to check, you have to show your DOT card, you have to be in uniform. But they're also checking you to make sure that you are
coherent.
That's right, that you're prepared, and they're not doing it because they want to pick on anybody.
No.
They're doing it because they want to keep you safe. Absolutely.
Well, this is Safety Month. It should be everyday safety, of course, awareness. But this month is more aware to make you realize little things like, put that phone away, the cell phone. Even if it's a good phone call, even like you said, Jay, it's hands-free, and you take a phone call, it might be a phone call that's devastating to hear, and that can make you emotionally unable to drive.
Yes.
I just had a girlfriend who, unfortunately, they knocked on our door at midnight and told her that her 22-year-old son had been in an ATV accident and he was killed. And she said she just couldn't think. She said she was just like a zombie. I thought, what if she'd been in the car and they would have called her? You can't drive like that. So it's best not to use your phone. Just let them go to voicemail. Call them back when you can stop.
Absolutely. That's a good habit to have. And, I get calls 24/7 around the clock.
Oh, I know you do. I call you all the time too. I know.
There's things that happen, but when I'm driving down the road and my phone either rings or it gives a little buzz to say, hey, I won't answer it.
Good for you.
But if and I'll say, wherever I get where I'm going, they'll leave a message or I'll call them back when I could kind of pull over.
Sure.
But the other thing is that if I'm going down the road and I hear it buzz and I just ignore it because I'm focusing on the road, and then it does it again like a few minutes later,
it might be serious.
It might be something serious. So again, I instead of waiting until I get to where I'm going, I might just pull over as soon as I safely can do so.
Oh, that's good. That's a good rule to, like you said, something to habit to get into.
Yeah.
Because I know even if you answer the phone, think I was going to look at it quickly. That's a $500 fine. I mean, if you have enough of those, they can put you in jail too. So it's not just safety. It's expensive if you're caught with the phone in your hand.
Absolutely. And that's not an MTA rule. That's a state.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it should be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I know, because I was guilty at one point, and the police stopped me. Said, was your phone in your hand? I said, yeah, I was looking at my GPS, because I was at a red light. And I thought, where's that? Was it next to intersection that went up there? So he saw when he stopped me that was the map, but he said that could be a ticket, and I'm going to give you a warning. Don't have it in your hand. I said, well, thank you. He said, get one of those little things on your car. You can look at that. Even that's distractive, though, if you're looking at a map instead of the road. So you just got to be careful.
Yeah.
If you do the map before you leave.
Sometimes that too, they make things too convenient for us.
Yeah.
And too easy. So it really does. It comes down to setting yourself up to be successful and have good habits. So, like my family knows, I'm on the road and stuff. They know the routine. If they call me, don't get me right away. When I can, I will call you back.
Sure.
And the same thing, if you're a driver, you're going out there, I advise don't even take your phone with you because you don't know what that call is. You don't know that it's a severe incident or whatever. And if it is, we give the drivers cards so they can call in directly to dispatch. Their family members. They can give their card to their family members so they can call in and get a hold of dispatcher and say, hey, your mother had an accident or whatever, or so-and-so.
Serious, yeah.
Like say something happened with Daryl's family.
Right. Instead
of Daryl getting that call while he's trying to drive the bus, the family could call in and let dispatch know, and then dispatch could say, hey, all right, we need to get somebody out there to relieve Daryl.
Right.
So why don't you do this? Jay, you take the spare bus, relief bus. I'll drop you off there, and then I'll get Daryl off the bus, and I'll drive him over to the hospital or wherever it may be to let him know. Say, hey, Daryl, we had to get you off the bus because here's an emergency going on with your family.
Great.
And we want you to be able to focus on that, not do that while you're trying to drive down the road.
And even then, the dispatch could say, Daryl, we need to call you in. Can you come back to this? They could tell him that we need you back here without telling him if it's an accident.
Yeah. We when that happens, we want to make sure that we're not getting their mind racing about, okay, why are they calling me? What's going on? So it's better that we know where they're going to be on the route. We'll just plan on picking them up maybe at the end of the line or whatever, where it's safe to do so.
It's a lot that goes into all that thought process, isn't there? I mean, and you have, 700 employees, and we have 600 or 700?
Yes, we have several hundred. We got 313 revenue vehicles that we use, and about 2/3 of those are going out at during our main peak times.
Wow.
And then you got employees that are working in some departments around the clock. Wow. So we always got drivers out there serving the community because that's where the needs are. It's very important for us to work together to stay safe and, again, really focus on having good habits.
Well, I always say you'll be very hard-pressed to not walk outside and see a MTA vehicle, whether it's Your Ride, Rides to Wellness, the regional buses, or the fixed routes. They're out there constantly working. And I know we have provided up to 4 million rides in a year before, and 44,000 work rides in the past. That's a lot. People don't realize how much we do. As MTA is busy, they're on the road constantly, and getting people to a doctor's appointment that maybe could not afford to get there ordinarily, just couldn't even get there without a car, which, grocery store to get food. I know we do a lot of special transportations, and the one, there was a soccer game this last weekend, and he said, we could not have done our event without MTA. And they had, I think, several buses that we took over there to transport people back and forth. So we do just so much more than when you see the buses. We do the rides to wellness and the grocery store and the rides to work and so many things. Aren't you proud to work at MTA?
I'm extremely proud to work at MTA. And I absolutely love our mission.
Yeah.
All the jobs I've had in my career, nothing is rewarding as what we do every day. Because even on the worst day, you might have had maybe a bad interaction or a complaint or something of that, or maybe even an accident. But we also did thousands of rides that day that went well.
Yeah. Thousands of good things.
And that's what we get to do at the end of the day. Whatever challenges we face, we're making the world better. We get to serve not just Flint, but all of Genesee County. But also, we go all the way down to the Great Lakes Crossing Mall.
For $3, less than a gallon of gas.
We go to Brighton. getting people to work and those regional services. But we provide a great opportunity for people to improve their quality of life.
Oh, absolutely.
As they decide. Some, it may be a doctor's appointment or dialysis, something to that effect. It may be going to church. It may be going to groceries. It may be visiting family. Whatever that is, we're here to serve them and meet that need. It's just an awesome feeling to be able to be part of that and help do that.
Well, just imagine if somebody took your driver's license away. Say, okay, sorry, you can't have it for 6 months. I mean, think, well, how do I get to work and how do I get to the grocery store and how do I get around? That happened to a friend of mine, a former co-host. He had no problems. And this one day, he just kind of like spaced out. He didn't black out. He just kind of spaced out for a second. And his wife said, what'd you do? He said, what do you mean? He said, you just hit a tree. They weren't hurt, thank goodness. But he went to the doctor. Everything looked fine, thank goodness. But he said, no, because of that, we got to take your driver's license away for 6 months. And he was devastated. He's like, I have a little girl, I got to get back and forth to school, and I got to go to work. And what am I going to do? Mr. Benning said, tell him your ride will take him any place in Genesee County for $2.25. He said, how can you afford to do that? I said, Mike, you and I were in the air together for 25 years. We talked about that. He goes, I know, but until you need it, you don't realize how important it is. You hear about it, but until you need it, you don't realize the importance of that.
That's right. All 640 square miles of Genesee County.
Yeah, right down to the mile. Yep.
And I'm out and about with all these different chamber events and committees that I'm on. And the one girl, I've known her for 20 years. She said, oh my gosh, I got to go in for a knee replacement next month or next week, whatever it was. And she said, I don't know how I'm going to get back and forth with my physical therapy. I don't have anybody to take me. I don't want to ask my kids. They're working. I'm kind of concerned. And I said, well, we have rides to wellness and your ride will take you. She said, they would? I said, yeah. She said, what would that take? And I said, well, 24-hour notice, let them know when you have to go. And it's $2.25 to get you there. It's each way. And she said, that's all? You mean I can just make a phone call and somebody will pick me up at my house in a car? I said, yeah. She said, oh my gosh. She was so relieved and she was so grateful. So people don't know it until they need it. They see it, they hear about it, there's on TV, we're talking about it, but until you actually need it, you won't appreciate it.
Absolutely. And we have Independence Day coming up for our country.
Yes.
And you think about what we provide. In a lot of cases, we have people that are very independent, but like you mentioned, they can't drive. And they may have a friend or family member that would more than willing to help them out, but some people may feel like they're being a burden.
Right.
And so MTA gets to provide them that freedom, that independence to go and do what they need to do without having to feel like they're burdening their family or whatever. Whatever.
Nobody
the case
likes to
may
ask for help, but if you have a service that provides that, then it's a bonus. It's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 'cause it's hard for me to drive too late at night if it's raining and it's dark out. It's kind of like blurry. It's kind of hard to see. I get kind of nervous about that. And I have a friend, an older gentleman, that said he was just told he can't drive at all anymore. And he was just like, "Can you give me a ride to the Rotary?" I said, "Well, sure, but you have your ride can come and get you too. I'll go anytime you want, but your ride will be at your disposal." He's like, "Anytime?" It's like, "Yeah, anytime you need it, and it's place in Genesee County." So he's like, "What's that number again?" So I gave him the number. He was writing it down. It's just, I'm so grateful that we can do that and that we can share that kind of important stuff with people.
Absolutely.
So this is the third week of June for the importance of safety. So what are they supposed to look for on week 3?
Yeah, so June is the National Safety Council. It's the designated safety month. And so at MTA, what we do is each week of the month, we focus on different safety topics.
Oh, okay.
And so our 4 Hours committee puts together, areas of focus. And so we put posters out, we send out emails, we got signage downtown, we got safety talks with our operators and drivers, our mechanics, and all of that is to keep us safe and to remind us that there's a lot of little things that you can do, but most importantly, if you see something, that you have to say something. So you don't want to walk by something, maybe a trip hazard or something that's on the steps or in a walkway.
Or if you see a spill, think, "Oh, well, that's water." Don't even know what it is. Ask somebody. Don't check on that.
That's right. And so the third week here in June, we're focused on freedom to work safely is the theme, and it's workplace and environmental safety awareness. So focusing on things like slips, trips, falls, the PPE, the personal protection equipment, heat safety, safe lifting, and hazardous materials. So each of those areas has things that we can do as individuals to keep each other safe.
Well, those are all important. Yeah.
They're if things do happen, maybe someone spilled something by accident.
Sure.
But the important thing is to take action to remedy that as quick as possible. but also communicate it so everyone's aware of it. So that's the focus for this week. We do an awful lot with our procedures in training, and we're also doing an extensive amount of refresher training and updated training for all of our operators. We use a system called TAPCO for our defensive driving, and that's the latest version of training that we've used in that area, because NSC, National Safety Council, they had a defensive driving course that we used to use for training our operators, and then we had a TSI program through Rutgers University that also provided defensive driving training. And the latest one is TAPCO, which we've been using for about 5 years. And they have the triple LCs, in terms of defensive driving. We're going through right now to make sure every one of our operators has been trained on the latest program using TAPCO with the triple LCs. So when you hear that, what that means is, you're looking ahead, you're looking around, you're leaving room between you and the vehicle in front of you. And the C is you're communicating. You're using your blinkers, you're using your lights, you're using your horn if someone's coming over and you need to get their attention. And
how much space are you supposed to leave in between cars? Is it one full car space between you and the car in front of you?
No, it's much more than that. It depends on how fast you're going.
Yeah.
It depends on different factors that may affect, like if it's dark out and maybe you can't see as far ahead, or the roads are wet or icy.
Yes.
And so depending on what's there for each factor, you want to add additional space that gives you enough time to stop. But you also want to adjust your speed for those conditions so you have appropriate time to react if something does come up.
Well, I hope, can you come back next week and talk about the fourth week and with the safety that we're going to have in the fourth week?
I would come back every day and talk about safety.
Okay, great.
All right. I like that.
Good.
We really, we do a lot of great things, but just one accident is too many.
Oh my gosh, I agree.
And they're not really accidents. There's usually something that happened that could have prevented an incident from happening. So you say the term accident, and there really isn't an accident. There's something that made that happen.
Well, you're right about that. I know.
Maybe someone was following too close. Someone wasn't communicating, or you got the green light and someone comes flying through the other way.
Yep, trying to beat that light.
Or you see the light turn yellow, so you prepare to stop, and as you stop, there's 3 cars behind you that go by 2-3 seconds later, and they go right through the light.
I've seen that happen.
Right.
It happened in high school. I was going through I was sitting there waiting. The light turned green. As it turned green, I went through, and an 80-year-old man came. He broadsided me because he didn't stop at the red light. They said he hit the gas instead of the brake, but that was a very bad accident. Like you said, but still, it could have been. Maybe he was on medication, or maybe he shouldn't have been driving at that age. Right. Are there tests that people have to take as they get older to see if they are cognitive, able to drive or not? Do you know?
Well, you have to go in every so often to renew your driver's license.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and it depending on the age and the last time you did a test, they may give you a test while you're there. But for our operators, they all have to have a DOT physical, which checks to make sure that they physically are able to operate the vehicle.
That's important. What's a DOT stand for?
Department of Transportation.
That's what I thought. I wasn't sure. Okay.
Yep.
Well,
so it's a physical that they have specific things that they're looking at in terms of the operator, that their vision is good. They're
strong.
They don't have a lot of medications or things that are affecting their ability to.
And that changes. You might have a hay fever or something. You might have to take allergy medication or kidney stone or something. So you have to take different medications. It changes. Just because you're healthy today doesn't mean you're going to be healthy 6 months from now.
Right.
So I'm glad they have that.
That's right. And there's an awareness you need to have, if you start on a new medication or or even sometimes some of the vitamins or something you may take.
Oh my gosh.
It may have an impact on you that maybe makes you dizzy, or maybe makes you groggy or dehydrate you.
Of course. I had a sty in my eye, and I went to the doctor. He goes, I'll give you some antibiotic. I was like, okay. So I didn't think anything of it. I took an antibiotic. I came to work, and I got sick to my stomach. I couldn't go to the meeting because you're supposed to take something to eat with that antibiotic, a little piece of, bread or toast or something or banana, and I didn't really realize that. I thought, it's not going to affect me. If I had been driving, I would have been getting sick at the wheel. That would have been difficult. Yeah. So, if you feel yourself being sick, don't get behind a wheel. That's even smart. That's right. I want you to come back next week because we want to let you go today, but I want you to come back. Can you do that for sure?
I will absolutely come back, and I just want to remind everyone here at MTA that every third Wednesday of the month, we have a safety committee meeting that is open to everybody. And if you can't make the meeting, you can get a hold of your union rep, your supervisor. You can email me. You can call my direct extension at 8990. And we also got suggestion boxes in the different areas.
That's good.
So you can do it anonymously or any of those other ways I just mentioned. And I highly encourage you to do that, because you don't want to be the person that saw something and you didn't say something.
Yeah, kicking yourself for sure.
And then the other thing I would just state is, safety starts by looking in the mirror. That's
like
who
that
it starts with. That's the person that's most responsible for your safety. Is you.
Good point.
And we're always willing and appreciate any questions. If someone's unsure about something, ask.
Okay.
I'd much rather ask. We got a phenomenal training department that'd be more than glad to work through and give refresher training. We do it all the time.
Well, I'm asking you to come back next week and talk about it the week before. So he's going to come back.
And I will do that.
All right. Thank you so much. And thank you for listening. Make sure you listen too, because it says you learned some things on this show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
AJ does a great job with that. So every week it's called On the Road with the MTA, Stephanie K and Jay.
That's me.
And MTA is, of course, the very best. MTA stands for, man, that's awesome. Thank you for listening. Please stay safe.
You've been listening to On the Road with the MTA. For more information on our services and community outreach, visit us online anytime at www.mtaflint.org. And be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. The MTA, your community, your connection, your way.